Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're uncovering, well, a fun little secret about one of tech's biggest legends. Steve Jobs didn't actually become a billionaire from Apple. The company you probably thought gave us all those shiny gadgets and drained our wallets.
Yeah, that's the common assumption, isn't it? But it's wrong.
Nope. The really big bucks, the billionaire status, that came from Pixar.
Pixar, the studio that gave us talking toys like Woody and Buzz.
Exactly. And made grown adults, myself included, cry over animated fish like Nemo.
It turns out making people sob in theaters, that can be way more profitable than making them buy overpriced iPhones every couple of years.
Right. And while Jobs cashed in on all that animation magic, we're here spinning audio magic. So definitely subscribe to this deep dive, tell your friends.
Join the community.
Join the community that actually wants you to think.
And what's truly fascinating here, as we dig into the sources, is how this whole thing happened. It wasn't planned. It was a series of, well, seemingly chaotic events. You've got a high-stakes divorce, a really risky $10 million bet on this little computer graphics division.
Which was bleeding money.
For nearly a decade of grinding financial struggle. And that led to a fortune for Steve Jobs far greater than what most people credit to Apple.
So today, that's our mission. We're peeling back the layers on this counterintuitive truth.
Exactly, tracing the surprising journey of his wealth.
And showing precisely why Pixar, not Apple, was the real crown jewel of his financial portfolio.
We'll explore the pivotal decisions, the key moments that just completely pivoted his destiny.
Okay, so to properly kick this off, we have to journey back to the early 1980s.
A galaxy far, far away, almost.
Yeah, we're talking about George Lucas, the Star Wars guy. Now, you'd think after Star Wars blew up, he'd be swimming in cash, right? Just endless money.
You would absolutely think that.
Yeah.
But our sources, they paint a surprisingly different picture, more constrained.
Constrained. After Star Wars, what was going on?
Well, even Hollywood giants, like you said, aren't immune to financial pressures. Lucas, yeah, Star Wars was huge, but he found himself financially stretched.
How?
A big factor was building Skywalker Ranch. That thing was ambitious and incredibly costly.
Okay, that makes sense.
But the real catalyst, the thing that really forced his hand, it was a costly divorce settlement with his wife, Marcia Lucas. Our sources indicate this settlement was significant, enough that it really compelled him to carve up his empire to raise cash. Fast.
Wow. So he had to sell off parts of Lucasfilm.
Essentially, yeah. Putting parts of his creative dream on the block.
And what he decided to sell wasn't some minor side project, was it?
No, not at all. He put his entire computer graphics division up for sale.
Now, this wasn't just any old tech team.
Definitely not. This was a hotbed of innovation. The sources highlight pioneers like Ed Catmull, Alvy Ray Smith.
John Lasseter, too.
Yeah, and John Lasseter. These guys were already on the cutting edge, experimenting with tools that would, eventually change filmmaking forever.
They were pushing boundaries with digital animation, so why would Lucas let that go?
That is the million-dollar question. Or rather, the $30 million question initially.
$30 million. That's what he wanted for it.
That was Lucas's initial asking price, yeah. Pretty hefty.
So enter Steve Jobs.
Exactly. Freshly ousted from Apple in '85, looking for his next big thing. He saw something there, something valuable where, honestly, others probably just saw a niche tech division or an expensive hobby.
He saw the future, maybe, not just the tech.
I think so. The future of computing, of creative expression. He struck a deal.
For how much? Not $30 million, I bet.
Not even close. $5 million to acquire it.
$5 million? That's...
Plus another $5 million committed as working capital. So $10 million total initial investment.
$10 million. Still a lot of money, but yeah, a fraction of what Lucas wanted. Shows Jobs' eye for potential, I guess.
Definitely. Spotting that undervalued potential.
Okay, so Jobs makes this audacious $10 million bet. He buys the division, renames it Pixar. But like you said, it wasn't an instant win. Far from it.
Oh, absolutely not. For nearly a decade, our sources reveal that investment wasn't just sitting there. It was a financial hemorrhage.
Just burning cash.
Constantly. Pushing the company to the brink time and again. The road from buying it to animation gold was rocky. Very rocky.
Consistent losses, desperately searching for a way to make money. It makes you wonder about the faith or maybe just sheer stubbornness he needed.
It does. What were the specific hurdles in those early years?
Well, delving deeper, what's really fascinating is just how much Jobs personally put in.
You mentioned the $10 million start.
Right, but that was just the start. Pixar's initial business model wasn't movies. It was hardware.
Hardware? Like computers?
Yeah, selling these high-end Pixar image computers, or PICs,
Mhm.
super powerful graphics workstations,
Right.
great for scientific visualization, medical imaging, complex 3D stuff, but the price tag,
Expensive.
astronomical, often over $100,000 per unit, so the market was tiny.
Technological marvels, but commercial flops.
Exactly. It created a huge, constant drain on cash.
So-
Jobs personally covered payroll out of his own pocket for years.
How much are we talking?
The estimate is around $50 million. $50 million of his personal fortune poured into this company that just kept losing money.
50 million on top of the initial 10.
Yep. Our sources say he came incredibly close to just shutting it down. Multiple times.
Wow. That underscores just how precarious it was. It really could have just vanished.
$50 million. Personal money. Over a decade. For a company losing money hand over fist, that's just astonishing. Especially for Jobs, who we think of for Apple's successes, right? That sleek, immediate win kind of image.
Right. The stubbornness in a money-losing venture feels almost out of character.
Yeah. Do the sources give any insight into his mindset then? How did he square that personal drain with his, often ruthless business side?
That's a great question. It does seem contradictory. The sources suggest it was complex, a blend. Part of it was definitely his visionary side.
Believing in the tech.
Believing in the power of computing, digital media. He saw a future where computers were for storytelling, not just calculation.
But
But yeah, you're right. His famous stubbornness was a huge factor too. He'd invested so much, financially and emotionally. Walking away, that would have felt like admitting defeat, which wasn't really his style.
okay, that makes sense. So how did they survive then?
Well, during that struggle, the company started a really crucial pivot, strategic shift.
Away from the hardware.
Gradually, yes. Instead of just selling the expensive computers, they started developing their software, RenderMan.
RenderMan. I've heard of that.
It became the industry standard for 3D rendering. It's still used today. That was huge.
So that brought in money.
It helped stabilize things. But crucially, they also started making short animated films.
Like Luxo Jr. The Lamp.
Exactly. 1986 is Luxo Jr. and Tintoy in 88.
Weren't they just tech demos, though?
Initially, maybe. But they weren't just demos. They were brilliant showcases for the technology, sure. But more importantly, they nurtured the storytelling talent inside Pixar. These shorts got critical acclaim. Tintoy even won an Oscar.
An Oscar. Wow.
Yeah, so they were effectively building their portfolio, proving what they could do with the tech, even while the hardware side was struggling.
So it was a pivot. From selling the tech to making art with the tech.
Precisely. That was a lifeline.
And that lifeline leads us straight to the big moment, right? The one that changed everything for Jobs financially.
Absolutely. November 1995. The turning point.
Toy Story.
Toy Story, their first full-length feature film. Voices like Tom Hanks, Tim Allen.
It didn't just open, it exploded. Critics loved it, audiences loved it. Huge box office.
It wasn't just a film, it was a cultural phenomenon. Groundbreaking animation, yes, but also such a heartfelt story.
So how quickly did that success turn into cash for Jobs? Because they were still technically maybe shaky.
The success of Toy Story wasn't just nice to have. It was absolutely critical for the company's survival and future. Just days after the film's spectacular debut, Pixar seized the moment. They went public. An IPO.
Wow, talk about striking while the iron's hot.
Absolutely. And the market went crazy for it. Our sources highlight this incredible demand. Shares were initially priced at $22.
Okay.
But the buzz was so intense, they opened trading at $47.
Double.
Pretty much. They closed the first day at $39. It was electric. Lawrence Levy, the CFO back then, he described it perfectly. Like an Olympic sprint. A lifetime of training struggle, all coming down to that one snapshot performance.
Incredible pressure.
Unbelievable pressure and unparalleled triumph.
And for Jobs, he still owned most of the company, right?
He held roughly 80% of Pixar at that moment. 80%.
So that one day of trading.
That was it. His risky, decade-long $50 million bet transformed overnight. From this financial sinkhole into one of the hottest, most celebrated IPOs of the decade.
Who became?
Instantly crossed the billionaire threshold. Billionaire.
Think about that timing. 3 years before the iMac even hit the shelves. Years before the iPod. Way before the iPhone.
It wasn't Apple. It was talking toys that first made Steve Jobs a billionaire.
It's just an almost unimaginable shift in fortune. Mind-blowing.
It truly is. And it raises an interesting point about the market back then, mid-90s.
How so?
Well, Apple was still finding its feet again, right? A challenging period. But The entertainment industry, it was on the edge of this huge digital revolution. Investors didn't just see Pixar as a film studio. They saw it as a tech pioneer in this booming content market. Scalable potential.
So the IPO wasn't just about Toy Story's success.
Not solely, no. It was this massive vote of confidence in the future of digital storytelling, its long-term revenue potential. And at that specific moment, that potential looked much brighter for Jobs personally than Apple's immediate prospects.
So his willingness to stick it out.
To weather those incredibly lean years, despite the huge personal cost, the constant threat of failure, it finally paid off. Big time. It validated not just his stubbornness, maybe, but that profound long-term vision he had.
Okay, so Toy Story hits, IPO makes him a billionaire, but Pixar didn't stop there.
No way. They just kept going, hit after hit.
A Bug's Life, Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo.
The Incredibles, Cars, Ratatouille, the list goes on.
And they weren't just good films, they were consistently out-innovating Disney.
In animation, the very medium Disney basically invented and dominated for decades.
It's this remarkable, almost unthinkable shift. The student surpassing the master, kind of.
Absolutely. How did Disney, the established giant, react to this upstart consistently stealing their thunder?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, Pixar's relentless success, their reputation for quality, for innovation, it led to the ultimate climax in their relationship with Disney.
Which had been complicated already, right?
Yeah.
Distributor-collaborator.
Exactly. By 2006, Disney's own animation studio was, let's say, in a challenging creative spot.
Understatement, maybe.
Perhaps. So, faced with Pixar's undeniable artistic and commercial dominance, Disney did the only logical thing.
They bought him.
They acquired Pixar, an all-stock deal valued at a staggering $7.4 billion.
$7.4 billion. Wow.
And Jobs. He owned just over 50% of Pixar by then. He walked away with roughly 138 million Disney shares.
138 million shares.
Wow. That made him, what, like 7% owner of Disney?
About that, yeah. Overnight, he became Disney's largest individual shareholder.
And got a seat on the board.
And a seat on the board. This wasn't just a sale. This was the crown jewel, solidifying his massive wealth through a completely different empire than Apple.
Truly the crown jewel of his portfolio.
Indeed. And the financial impact was profound and lasting. By September 2011, just weeks before he passed away, those 138 million Disney shares, they were valued at $4.4 billion.
$4.4 billion just from Disney stock.
Compare that to his Apple shares at the time, worth about $2.1 billion.
So Disney was worth more than double his Apple stake.
To him personally, yes. Plus, those Disney shares had already paid out over $240 million in dividends.
Wow. Steady cash flow.
Steady cash flow that Apple stock at that point wasn't providing. Bloomberg estimated his total net worth around then at no less than $6.7 billion. And Disney was clearly the dominant part of that. It really shows where his personal wealth was anchored.
The irony is just stark, isn't it? He goes back to Apple in '97, saves the company, leads it to create these world-changing products.
The iMac, iPod, iPhone, things that reshaped culture.
Right, but the absolute bedrock, the foundation of his billionaire status, it traces back to that $10 million bet.
On a struggling graphics group.
That George Lucas sold off because of a divorce settlement.
It's a perfect example of the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
One person's crisis inadvertently creates another's unimaginable fortune years before the world even knew what an iPod was.
It's a wild story. And what's fascinating, too, is that Jobs isn't entirely unique in this pattern.
You mean making fortunes outside their most famous gig?
Exactly. Think about Elon Musk. Everyone knows Tesla, SpaceX, pushing boundaries, electric cars, rockets.
Right, world-changing stuff.
But our sources point out his initial big money came earlier, selling Zip2, his first software company.
And later PayPal, right, from the mergerwithx.com.
Precisely, long before Tesla was a household name.
Or Richard Branson.
Branson, good one. Virgin Atlantic, Virgin Galactic, space tourism, airlines. Very high profile.
Super high profile. But he became a billionaire partly thanks to Virgin Records.
His record stores and that hugely successful music label back in the day signed some massive artists.
It just goes to show, doesn't it? The path to huge success often takes these weird, unexpected detours.
The biggest fortunes sometimes pop up where you least expect them.
Yeah.
And that's our deep dive into the surprising source of Steve Jobs' billionaire status. It really is a testament to vision, resilience, and A little bit of unexpected Hollywood drama.
It really encourages us, I think, to look beyond the obvious stories, the headlines, appreciate the often complex, kind of circuitous routes people take to achieve significant things.
Yeah.
The story of Jobs and Pixar is just a powerful reminder that sometimes the biggest successes, they bloom in the most unlikely places, quietly nurtured by patience and just unwavering belief.
Well said. And speaking of unsung heroes, credit to our producer, FireflyHaku, working away behind the scenes like one of Pixar's unsung animators.
Yeah.
Just, with fewer talking lamps and probably more caffeine.
Definitely more caffeine.
I'm grateful for your ear. Spread the word and join us again soon.